Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to update the John Deere 750 grain drill. We have a Scale Tech update and we're going to bring you guys along. Hope you enjoy. Returning viewers will recognize the John Deere 750 grain drill. This drill we did a ton of upgrades to, put the prescription tillage discs on, added a scale kit from Scale Tech. It's the Scale Tech Point system. Worked really good the first year, and then ever since then we've had nothing but problems. So many problems, we were getting ready to rip all of the Scale Tech parts off and the head and replace it with a completely different system from a scale technician company that we use in Southern Illinois. And they said, we can certainly do that, but we don't want to chop around on the Scale Tech system. We want to just replace everything with our head and 10,000 pound shear load cells. That was going to be a pretty expensive option, which we opted not to do. I called Scale Tech. I said, hey, we put a ton of money into this system. It worked great one year. We really don't use it that much, and it really should not be malfunctioning this much. What's the deal? What can you help us with? There was a gentleman there I talked to. He was very helpful, and he explained that when we bought our Scale Tech system, they were in a transitional time where they had 2 plugs in each load cell line. There's one right here, obviously with a 6-inch pigtail, and then there's another one all the way back here at the junction box. The problem we had with that was that they are only pushing, if I remember correctly, like 5 milliamps or millivolts. I'm not an electrician, don't know everything. I'm just going off of what the technician said. And he said that they never had enough power to push it through both plugs. What happens, since they don't have enough power to go through both plugs, is you get a ridiculous amount of drift. I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'll set you guys up on the tripod and see if I can show you the system malfunctioning. The hopper's completely empty, and just a minute ago it was saying 60 pounds. I'm going to go demonstrate this now. You'll have to pardon the glare, guys. We're doing this outside so I can get a forklift on each side of it. I'm going to go to the right side rear if you were sitting in the tractor seat and wiggle one of the connections, and hopefully it'll go haywire for you. That was just simply wiggling the rear connection. And if I were going to go to the left front side, it would do the exact same thing. This is just a issue that is apparently going to be easily corrected. We will see. Now that you got to see the scale head malfunction, Scale Tech, they said the workaround for this is to cut your pigtail off and remove this plug, and then use a soldered and heat shrink connection yourself and get this all working. He said that's the easiest workaround. I'm guessing now their new systems do not have this plug in it. I didn't confirm that with the technician. I said, well, I'm really not the best solderer, if you will. Is there anything we can do, or what does new load cells cost without, a secondary plug in them? And he said, well, if you don't want to solder it yourself, we offer a exchange program, and we will take load cells in. You will see this one says used on it right here. We will take load cells in on trade, and then we will do the cutting, soldering, and splicing and heat shrink tubing, and then you're kind of guaranteed to get a load cell that's going to work. I said that is the route I want to go. This is the more expensive route than just doing it yourself. Of course, if you do it all day, every day, you're going to be very confident. I'm not the most confident doing that. All I have to do is pay shipping both ways. They sent me this load cell. It has a new sticker that says used on it, I'm guessing, so they won't warranty it or whatever, but I'm happy to do that. And they have a very nicely done solder job, I assume, under this heat shrink tube. I'm obviously not going to cut it open, but they even use the higher end heat shrink tube with the glue in the end. That's the good stuff. That's what you want to see. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started on changing out one of the load cells. Then we'll roll a time lapse, just get the project done quick and in a hurry, because it's literally unbolting things, undoing a quick plug, and putting on a new load cell. So should be pretty self-explanatory. Let's roll. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 1 1/8" bolt out of the load cell end. Then I'm going to loosen these once we have the drill box picked up with the forklift. We're obviously going to want to save our hardware. Now that we have the drill box up, we can go ahead and remove our load cells here. Obvious word of warning, do not be sticking your fingers or anything else underneath of the drill box. Hydraulics can fail at any moment. There is a flat washer spacer right here. I want to keep track of that. That goes between the load cell and the drill box. Now we're ready to unzip these. I'm going to go ahead and power down the system. There we go. Now we're ready to get started changing the load cells out. I'm going to go ahead and cut this zip tie. This is actually a hole that we added just to get our wire protected, because we didn't like the fact of our wire hanging way out here like this. We wanted to make it a little more rigid, so we put those holes in there. Now, unzip our 2 bolts. Fortunately, these do not spin because of the narrowness of the iron tube here. It can be a little bit of a challenge. Drop my nut there. To get them lined back up. That's our old load cell. Go ahead and unplug him from the problem plug. And now this is what gets sent back to ScaleTech for chopping and resoldering. Fishing this middle bolt is the most annoying part of this installation for me, because my hands are so large they won't fit in the hole. There we go. It's kind of a 3-man operation. Using the pocket knife and a thread. Go. Pocket knife and a thread again. Drop the washer. It's always good. Fortunately, we have 2. There we go. Now, move on to the next one. This one is a little bit easier. Still not the easiest thing in the world. There we go. Gotta make sure our washers are up correct direction. That drives me insane. And we'll tighten these up just hand tight so we can get this one set. Want to be careful here not to put our finger underneath of the drill box. There And there we go. Now we'll just leave these all finger tight for now until we get the box settled on the rear one. I'm gonna go ahead, roll a time lapse because there's not a lot going on here, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new and hit the like button, really helps out the channel. Quick note, the rear load cells, they have this little John Deere green tab on them. That is to keep you from wrenching on your connection going into your load cell. It's just a handy little thing, keep track of it so that your load cell doesn't get damaged mid-planting season. Let's go ahead and roll the time lapse. We are done routing the front two cables. Tried to do as nice a job as possible. Try to keep these inside because zip ties can get sharper than all get out. I bought the large 36-inch zip ties this time, so I didn't have to double them up and triple them up to go around. These are a little bit more robust as well. And then also, I labeled with our masking tape left front and right front. I try to always do that as if you're sitting in the tractor seat, is what it is. And there's really no way or any point to trying to film back in here. Again, I'm gonna do a nice job, cut all the tails off, make it look finished, try to get a little bit of slack here so you can, you know, run around, things like that. We gotta go under here, follow all of the old lines, and get all the way up to there to our junction box. So I'm just going to stop the time lapse and hope to bring you guys back with a fully functional scale head. We'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done routing the cables, installing the new load cells, new used load cells. Routing the cables is never a fun job. Anybody that's done it knows. We are going to fire the unit up for the first time together. We've got our battery on here, just sitting here loose, because it's going to be coming right back off of here. Let that settle out. Okay, it appears to have settled out. Let's zero it. Okay, we're not getting any drift that I see yet. That's interesting. It appears that all of them are going to work. There's one quick thing I want to show you guys. It was a little disappointing that ScaleTech sent this out, but I will show you, and it is what it is. I'm not going to complain too much. We're not mad at ScaleTech. It was just very, very frustrating that we were never informed there was a quote-unquote recall. They didn't really do a recall. They just said, in my opinion, you know, if they call up, let's take care of them. If they don't, they don't. So we're holding zero. I want to go show you the load cell that is damaged right out of the box. I don't think it's too big a deal. I'm just going to fix it here quickly. We are on the left-hand rear side of the grain drill, as you can see, and right out of the box, whatever is behind this cap, I'm not going to investigate, is going to draw moisture. We like to wash our equipment. That's just how we are. And so I guess what I'm going to do is use the right stuff. It's a Permatex brand gasket maker, and it seems to hold up quite well, so that's what I'm going to put there. And hopefully we won't have any issues. It does appear that the scale is working perfectly, so let's go ahead and start testing it. The scale is maintaining 0. I am using the ScaleTech app, as you can see here. I'm going to hit the 0 button. It's kind of bright out here. Hit confirm, and then the scale, yes, the scale head says 0. So we're connected. That's good. This is just for me so that I don't have to run around and watch the video to see if it is weighing properly. Unfortunately, I don't have a test weight here. I'm going to use a cinder block. It should be plenty consistent. I do have certified test weights over at the main shop. The cinder block will suffice. I just don't want to drive back over to the small town we live close to and pick up a test weight from the main shop. We're going to start with the right front corner with our cinder block. Says we are weighing at 40 pounds on the scale head, and hopefully you can see my app is corresponding to that. So now we're just going to keep working our way around. We are going to the right side rear of the grain drill. And here again, we have come up to 40 pounds. That's very, very encouraging. I'm going to move over to the left rear corner. You probably won't be able to hear me too good. Okay, we hit 40 pounds. We're on the app as well. We're reading at 40. Hopefully it's corresponding to the scale head. We are now moving to the left front corner. And we hit 40. All right. I believe that is going to solve our problem. Hallelujah. There was nothing more frustrating than it is good weather, you've got a good window, and then you're wanting to apply seed accurately, and then you had the fluctuation. I am so thrilled to see this not drifting like the technician talked about. Overall, I would say I have been satisfied with the unit. The ScaleTech point system on the John Deere 750 grain drill. I think it's a good investment, especially with seed prices nowadays. It's awesome that I was able to work with ScaleTech and get some new load cells. I think that should wrap up this video. I'm going to save my old wires. I used about 30 of those large 36-inch zip ties. That was the way to go. Definitely buy the big ones so you can just get done instead of linking them all together. I'd like to thank everyone that came along on the adventure today. Like, share, and subscribe if you're new. Again, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.